Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. As usual, I'm your host, Mike. Hello. Great to see all your smiling faces. If I could, I assume they'd be smiling. We're gonna hop right back into our little primalist boy, a little raptor boy. We're gonna make our raptor pack build here. Still leveling, getting through early monolith stuff. Feeling good, feeling fine. Welcome to our Last Epoch dev stream. I'm your host, Mike. I am a senior developer / designer for Last Epoch, and I'm here to answer your questions. Have some fun, play some games, relax, chill out. We do also stream for charity. Right above my head, you can see our charity. Yeah, I think that's all the housekeeping. Oh yeah, if you have a question for me, please put at Last Epoch game in the question, so I know you're looking for me to answer it. I'll be happy to do that. Might ramble a little bit. Few sidetracks. We like sidetracks though. I had a pretty good week this week. I don't know about you guys. Everyone, yeah, if you had a good week or not, but I really enjoyed it. Good one. Very excited about the upcoming. If you haven't seen any of the new stuff for the upcoming event that we are hosting for the Mortal Empire Uprising, it's gonna be sweet. Tons of new stuff. Post just went out this morning. I'm expecting some questions regarding that. Hopefully I can clarify those for you. Hi Aaron, how's it going? Good to see you. Glad to have you with us. Ooh, I look away for 1 second. I think we're getting pretty close to being able to switch this over, actually, aren't we? Where is the weapon actually? What level is it? 64. Not far. Not far. We got the COF rank. Of course we do. We found the item. 61, I think, maybe? Yeah. I don't know if this will be this stream or not, but maybe. Do a build transition. Reset all our skills back to 10 points. I don't even know what our minimum skill level is right now. What's our minimum? 9. Reset them all back to 9. They might be 10 by then. Got some questions here with the reset. Let's say you got the season late. Do you have to reset, or could you just keep playing? Well, I mean, you could. So here's the key piece of information that I think a lot of people are missing with this is that there's no functional difference in content between Cycle and Legacy right now, and there won't be any difference in content between Cycle and Legacy when the reset happens either. So if you're playing a new character in Cycle and you really want to just keep playing that character but don't want to lose access to any content or anything you wanted to do, you can just keep playing that character. You don't have to switch over to the new Cycle. The new Cycle is for if you want to engage in a fresh economy environment or compete on the new ladder. But if you're just looking to have some fun and keep playing your character, you can keep playing your character. There's no Aberoth lockout this time. There's no it's really just everything's the same except for the bizarre the economy reset and the ladder reset. You will have to buy new stash tabs again in Legacy. That's one thing. But with the gold boost, it happens real quick now. In fact, you still have access to all your stuff, so it's not like you need to take everything out right away. Come on. Just let me, thank you. Okay, more questions. Oh, they're pouring in. That's what I like to see. More skeletons will be everywhere or only in the endgame everywhere. Pretty sure they're everywhere. Just double check on that. They're in little packs. So they're fun little encounters. They're great. I don't see why they wouldn't be everywhere. I should double check on that. I'm just gonna ask. If you had to pick a current mastery to give an overhaul to, which one would you pick? Good question. Overhaul. I think Beastmaster is what comes to mind personally, and it's less about the class needing an overhaul and more that the it has just enough abilities that I think individually need overhauls, like Summon Bear and Summon Sabretooth together are just such a key piece of the overall skill availability in the class. Like it's 2 out of 5 are just so old at this point that I'd really love to see that. What am I talking about? Sentinel is the one I would pick, but we're already doing that one, so that's why I glossed over it in my mind. Okay, mostly we're revamping a very key skill in Sentinel, and it is having ripple effects everywhere in the class. All right. Hey, Mike, you have talked about implementing an affix trader where you trade at a loss. Is that soon or soon TM? It's not the 19th soon, so it's not next patch soon. But yeah, I think soon would be an appropriate way to put it. If we're talking in like proper patches terms. Right. On a scale of 1 to 10, how advanced is the skill MTX system? 2? Like I assume you mean like how much progress have we made on it? 2, but that's a lot to do with the fact that we just started. Okay, and saying they're echoes only. Okay, so end game. No campaign. I guess that makes sense to the way they had to happen, because otherwise we'd have to have spawners put in place for every zone. Yeah, that would have been too much work. All right. With the reset, we will have a class balance, or we reroll mana stacker and one-shot everything again. There's not a large balance patch that's happening at the same time. This is something we have put in the announcements that we sent out. With Imperial Uprising, on a scale, oh, I didn't answer that. What am I, these repeats, or am I just like jumping around? I'm just jumping around. Times when I don't look at the screen when I'm trying to play. Do we have to play the cycle refresh to qualify for the event reward, or can I continue playing my legacy character? You can continue playing your legacy character. I believe the reward, I actually don't know what the reward is. I'm assuming based on the way it's worded that it's going to be a cosmetic reward, which means online only. But I don't think you need to. I know you don't need to play in the cycle to get access to it. Stash tab, quality of life improvements won't add an improved search. No, there's no, the search is not improved yet. We are still working on search improvements. I don't think I made it in. There's some pretty cool stuff there, but it's not ready yet, as far as I know. It's so tricky to keep track of what's actually made it in, what actually hasn't made it in yet. All right, how does dungeon quality of life work? I don't think you guys mentioned about it in the forums. Yeah, it's not a gigantic change yet, and so that'll be coming in with the patch notes. There's sort of the first wave that we've really wanted to get into to clean up some stuff, and just make the process a little bit more smooth. And then we've got some bigger changes coming as well after that. Yeah, keep Berserk going. Such a gigantic difference in damage when Berserk stays up. Got him. Thanks, Raptor. So my Raptor's doing like half the work. We pulled out, what do I know we've done for sure? Like we cut off some chunks of the dungeons, so like the zones are physically just smaller, so there's less space to check in general. I know we have removed the like percentage of blockers that show, like the rate that the blockers show up at, so you'll go through smoother. And here's where we get into the like, did we add that or not point of the changes that are coming. Because there's some restructuring we want to do with dungeons in general that'll especially for party play as well, and also just revamping fail states, so they're a little bit more forgiving, things like that. I'm not sure what of all of this made it in or not to this patch. I think those are 1.2 things. Hi, long-term, big fan of the game, thanks. Feel like I might recognize the name from the forums? I don't know. I have a quick question, if you don't mind, could you please explain sextant blocking update next year, thanks? That's why I remember it. Well, see, a sextant is an important part of a compass, that without it, the compass just doesn't function at all. It's built right into every single one of them. It's completely wrong. It's not true at all. All right. Thanks for the answer. 2 beavers better than 1. In regards to the skeletons, we obviously know that the bones are the money. How about the worms? Are there worms money too? Oh god. Just realized what you were trying to get me to do. Well done though. Alright, is the increased rate of favorite reputation also a test for future permanent tweaks? 1.1 felt like I was able to buy a lot less prophecies in COF compared to 1.0. I mean, that to me, that says you probably had an extremely powerful build in 1.0. And I think we're always looking at the rates of these things. It's everything's kind of a test. It's not really anything in a vacuum. So yes, but I don't want you to think too much in that, like, if people like really love it, it'll just happen or something like that. We're always collecting data and looking at feedback. So if you do like it, do tell us, and it will influence our decisions going forward. But I don't want to get anyone's hopes up of like some like minimum threshold of if it gets this much enjoyment, we're just gonna make it core or something like that. That's not quite the way we do things. But so if you are looking for, if you do enjoy it, let us know. Yeah, I think we're gonna go for that. Oh, I should grab that. Yeah. All right, push forward, shards or expansion. Let's check out the area. So what buffs does the rainbow shrine do? What does the rainbow shrine do? Everything. You know, the closest thing I can liken it to is like a star. Like a, yeah. Oh, I was trying to get him to be trapped in the corner. That would have been funny. Will we see those bizarre search upgrades added to the loot filter? Loot filter... So we're talking about roll ranges now, I'm assuming is the key piece you're asking about. Okay, I did just get confirmation that the skeletons are monolith only, specifically monolith, which does make sense. I think there's, I don't know if the affix range stuff has been added to the loot filter, but the fact that we have it now functional for the searches for the Merchants Guild makes the barrier to putting in the loot filter a lot lower. There's a few differences in like designing what we want to exist in each of those things. It's not just a straight because it's in one it should be in the other. You know, like there's certain things that are intentionally in just one or the other. But I gotta say, I would not hate it. Any balance patches planned before 1.2? There's no like big overhaul balance patches planned between now and then, I don't think. But that doesn't mean we can't, you know, that doesn't mean it's impossible. Just because something's not planned right now doesn't mean it won't happen. Don't forget to put at Last Epoch Game. Yeah, if you want me to see the question and answer it, please put at Last Epoch Game in the question so I see it and I answer it. If I've skipped one and didn't get answered, I apologize. Please repost it. Only if you're sure I've skipped it. Any chance of being able to go back into an echo for loot on the floor when you didn't die, or when you die? I've lost so many prophecy pots. Right now, we don't have any way of preserving the echo layout when you leave. Once you've left, it's closed. Once you've left, it's closed. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Apparently it was a long week. Well, you got. I think a more realistic. I think there's a more realistic. I should expand on this here. So the question is about like losing gear to zones resetting, and I think there's a much more realistic solution to that problem than making the zones persist for us. Because having the zones persist is it's one of those things that you're like, well, just don't unload it, and we're like, yeah, it is so not that simple. And you know, sometimes the like reporting the core of the problem and not a wishful solution ends up getting us to a solution a lot faster. So if we just look at the problem of it's losing loot that was in a zone that you missed, it's also not just dying. It's you know, a minion killed something behind you in your travels, and you didn't notice that there was this item that you really wanted and all that sort of stuff. And you know, like there's other things than just dying. There's like, oh, I portaled out too quickly, I just didn't see it. You know, there's a lot of ways that you can lose loot. Maybe it dropped and was inaccessible due to like some of the dungeon barriers, or I was like off a cliff or something like that. Like, so there's a lot of different ways that it can't, like that's those different scenarios where that problem can show up. And so finding a solution that fixes all of those problems is really important. And just being able to go back into the zone doesn't fix all of those situations. Also going back in the zone is way harder for us than other possible solutions. So we're looking elsewhere to fix those problems, really. And there's no way to know that, so it's like not saying you guys should be aware of our internal workings and what's a hard problem, but yeah. Would be incredible. All right, will you guys? Oh, in here. Will you guys abandon the 1.2, 1.3 labels and go to a cycle 2, 3, or season? Everyone I talk to is beyond confused with patch 1.2, 1.3 moniker. Yeah, it is a little confusing. I think it would have been fine if we managed to kind of just stick with the numbering scheme, because once there was a pattern, it would be easy to see the pattern. I think I don't think we have any specific plans to change it right now, but I see where you're coming from, and I do agree there's a problem there because it is confusing. I think the biggest issue is that the patches are decoupled from the cycles in a like technical perspective, and like a lot of times I think we put too much emphasis on the technical patch numbers. Like this like 1.1.6.2 thing up there. Okay, more questions. I'm curious, what's your stance on player interactable navigate map elements? For example, traps that have a player interaction to trigger. So like, I mean, like the quintessential example that comes to mind, it was like the big thing they showed off when Diablo 3 first launched was the like you know, like you hit a wall and the wall crumbles and it lands on enemies and kills them, sort of thing. I think that if assuming that's what you're talking about, I think the like theming available and the like environmental storytelling that becomes available with things like that, and the like cool factor is just awesome, just fantastic. I think it tends to be a feature that fades into kind of the background as you get into the end game. So I don't know. That's a tough one. If you mean more like like strong boxes in PoE style thing, where it's like a button you press and there's a bunch of enemies that pop out and you gotta fight them real quick, and you get a reward for it, that sort of thing. I much prefer that style of thing, which you get similar like shrine stuff we have as well, and you know there's lots of things like that, lots of examples. That's not a hard pressed one. Overall, I think pro. I'm in the minority of players that use the Valve Steam controller. Will there be an option to disable the on-screen keyboard? I mean, Steam overlay versions feels a lot better to me. I have no idea. That's a hop into the suggestions and post it there, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, head on over to our forums and drop that in the suggestions. It's arena time. Just recently, I read the post about the movement of patch 1.3 to start of 2025. Not really what's happening, which illustrates the confusion point as well. Any concern from the team that it might be too long between large patches? Yeah, it was a huge concern. That was the main reason that came up not to do it. In the debate we had about if we were gonna do it or not. And to be clear, it's 1.2 that's coming out in Q1 2025, not 1.3. Is there, or will there be, way to upgrade gray/blue items to rare? Yes, there has been since day one of this game existing. It was one of our launch features with the like pre-Kickstarter build we sent out to like it's always been there. Yes. I can even show you how to do it. There's a blue item on the ground right over there. There's multiple ways to do it actually. This button, here we go. Let's do it after the fight. Come on down here. Join me in the pit. Raptor, so good. So good in the arena, especially because it has those buffs where it like kills and gets stronger. And so it's just like, it's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. Its hits are so much bigger. I'm just like looking at the damage numbers actually. Oh my god, should I even bother attacking? I mean, yes, because I need the life leech, but my goodness. Yeah. Alright, so if we're going to take a blue item and we're going to turn it into a yellow item, the distinction between a blue item and yellow item, or a white, blue, and yellow item is the number of affixes it has on it. So whites have 0, blues have 1 and 2, and yellows have 3 or 4. So we can just click on this plus here. Sorry, if we're going to start from scratch here. Press F to open the forge. Put the item in there, plus to add an affix, and let's add in a suffix, and let's put bleed on hit. We'll do nothing here. Boom, 2 affixes, still blue. Then what you can also do, so I could just add more affixes to it if I want, or Rune of Discovery puts random affixes on all available slots, and it's a yellow item. Easy peasy. When shrines cast abilities, are they separate from the player's skill trees? For example, does hammer throw tree impact the type of hammer thrown, damage dealt, etc. from the shrine hammers? skill trees do apply to abilities that are cast automatically from clicking on a shrine. So when you click on a shrine, you get a buff that starts spamming that ability. And if you have that ability specialized on your character and you have effects on that skill tree, they will apply. They do work. There are a couple nodes that don't play nice because you don't have like a proper target location, and there's like it's just randomly casting it at enemies. So like there's a few quirks that happen there. So there's a few things that aren't perfect right now. But yes, they do use your skill trees. Yeah, it's great. This was yeah, it was one of the things we started using it. They weren't using the skill trees, and we're like, oh, it would be really cool if they could. Why not? It's going through the same casting system. All right, we'll be Turkish translate to the game anytime next month or years. It's possible. I don't know which languages are next on the list. I know we did just did we just expand the languages huge, or just about to expand the languages huge a lot? We are still very actively working on improving our localizations for existing languages and in expanding to new languages. It's a really important part of this for us. We're really clear that this is an important part to our players as well. It's sort of like the most core accessibility option we can include in the game, so it is really important to us, and we are working on expanding it. I don't have any specifics offhand on exactly which ones are next. I'm sorry. Actually, it's a cool item. Not for us really right now, but it's got some affixes that line up decent. That was a lot of them landing at once. We dodged a nuclear warhead there. When will we have a fully viable B build? Feels like we're short one, maybe two items for full B chaos. Yeah, it's kind of always just like buzzing on the outer edges of viable build territory, isn't it? I think it's one of those things like it might take a few more patches before it finally really kicks off. It's a bit of a meme. And so I think we're a little hesitant to make the memes too strong. But having them be strong is not bad. Just I think there's a line where if it's like, well, the best thing to play in Last Epoch is a beekeeper. That way. Alright, is there going to be an endgame overhaul, or at least an entire separate way to play the endgame content instead of just endless monos? I mean, so I think the focus we're doing is on a few fronts, is addressing the issues with the dungeon system, which is the secondary endgame system that's kind of it not being good enough as a system overall, with the way that you interact with it in multiplayer, the way that you like the death penalties associated with it, specifically, all of that is specifically regarding the like the lead up to the dungeon and things like that. So like the maze with blockers is not fun for people. It's feedback we're getting pretty consistently, and fixing that will have a really big impact. That's like fixing that will in a way kind of add an end game system, because we'll be able to make new dungeons again, and also just make that be a fun end game system for people to play again. But yes, there's also a lot of updates to monoliths coming. I don't think there's a second system on the same scale as the monolith that's planned for 1.3. But we do have other end game activities and things like that planned. And I can't really go into detail on that. It's a little bit longer term for some of those. So we're expanding the in-game in several different ways, and that's going to keep expanding. And improving. I'd really personally like to see kind of a little bit longer side tracks be available in the monolith, where it's like mini dungeons that show up almost sort of randomly, like there's a wall and you're like, smack, oh hey look, a ladder to a mini dungeon, and you know, like things like that I think would really help. There wouldn't be a fully separate system on the same scale as the monolith, but I think they would kind of stand out as their own system within the monolith a little bit. I think that'd be really good. Gotta get that procedural generation system running though. We're working on it. Come on, keep it. No. Impossible. Nice. 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 I'm really excited about the loot lizards. The loot lizards are so cute, and like I've been playing right now because we've been playing all week with loot lizards in testing builds and things like that, and I'm like, I almost just said, well, I said to myself, and I almost said out loud, like, I haven't seen a loot lizard all, like, what's going on here? I haven't seen any of them. This is insane. Like, there must be something wrong. They're not showing up at all. There is, Mike. You're playing on the wrong patch. Hi, Josh. Are there any plans in your laundry list to improve the ice brush tree nodes, particularly what is reflected in the tooltip, and expanded tooltips for certain nodes to explain whether it's supported to be damage neutral or an increase? It's complicated skill and many nodes don't function how you might think they do, and the tooltip doesn't reflect it properly. I mean, we're always looking to improve all the skills, so if you've got specific nodes that you're concerned about, drop them in a bug report and we'll get to it. It is difficult to develop the game and to then be a player, knowing the maths behind drop rates and damage. Yes. How do you cope with any personal bias to buff nerf your favorite class? Great question. I think the primary part of it is that we don't buff and nerf in a vacuum, so there's not just one person being like, well, I play this, so I'm gonna buff it. You know, there kind of needs to be a justification and a reason behind it, and you have to be able to defend that decision. So you know, like usually there's at least 2 people, sometimes 3, 4, 5 people when you're doing balancing stuff, and it needs a little bit of peer review involved. There's a little bit of bias towards I think mechanically interesting effects for abilities that we really like, because I mean, it's just natural that, like, so the characters that I play on stream and I play offline and things like that, like, and play with my friends, those builds that I play a lot, I just get more experience with, and I just think of cool things that I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we added this sword into the game to work with this type of build and do this function, because I was playing that character. So you get more ideas, I think, for the classes that you play a lot and things like that, but I don't think that we are, and I think you do see that reflected a little bit in the quantity of unique items for each class, or for each ability. But I think we're pretty good about, you know, like, not just straight power buffing things we play. I like to play a lot. Trunks! Thank you very much for the gifted sub, and congrats to Cobalchin. Look at that. Thank you. Let's see what's in here. Oh, stifled roll. I mean, it's not bad, but just, you know, not what we're looking for. I'm really enjoying this build. I'm having fun with it. Please don't forget to put at Last Epoch game in the question if you'd like me to answer it. Thanks, Santa Clara. Appreciate you. Glad you enjoy it. All right, when will you ever make it so that you are not forced to fight any harbingers to progress to empowered monos? They're way too OP for normal. I mean, it's just the one, right? It's the one level 90 one you have to fight. I mean, I don't think there's any plans to take that out. I could, yeah. So it's a little tricky. I could see it, like allowing you to progress into empowered even if you didn't kill it. But I think the concern is that like the power jump or the difficulty jump from normal to empowered is pretty significant. And so if you can't kill that harbinger, you're probably going to have a tough time just doing empowered monos in general. Yeah. And then there's the other problem as well is if you fail that one and it still lets you into empowered, then you have to kill all of them as empowered versions instead of one of them as a normal version, because you do kind of get one freebie there a little bit. I say freebie, it's still hard. I think if anything, this might be kind of counterintuitive, but if anything, I think given that problem, the solution I'd probably start looking at first would be increasing the difficulty of normal monos, which I know is kind of the opposite of what you're asking for, but it does smooth out that curve. I do really like having difficulty like breakpoints that like I still remember, you know, the first. Was it the first character I ever did it? I think it was the first time I ever went to hell in Diablo 2. Was on a windy druid, and just like walking onto the moor and just being like, I gotta turn around because I can't do any of this at all. I really enjoy those. That might be a bit of an extreme example of a jump, but yeah. I don't know, it's a tricky issue. I'm not sure the best way to solve it. Are there plans to remake Block? Not really. See what you got to say on it though. If you do have a suggestion, jump out to read, I think, please drop it in the suggestions channels on Discord or our forums.
Safe travels.
Let's read it out. At the moment, you implement more and more stuff that isn't blockable at all, like the new bosses and their effects. The problem with that is that a lot of the class things from Sentinel doesn't work at all if no effect triggers a get hit effect. That is a major problem. Yeah, I think there was more dots in general, but then we did also give Sentinel specific tools to deal with dots a little bit better. And I know that Sentinel defense is low right now, and so we are looking at addressing that. So I don't want you to take that as like it's great or anything like that.
Yes.
But I think it's a positive thing that there are a split of, you know, a content that, you know, a character is better / worse at, and also just a difference in the style of content. So you have like different things you need to watch out for, different ways you need to prepare for different fights, things like that. I think that's really positive. And it's possible it might be too extreme, might not be balanced well enough, things like that. But the underlying effect, I think, is good. Who knows? Maybe the next set of content will be greatly favor hits to the point where things that can block are super strong. You never know. Block used to be the like only thing anyone did. Is it your mage? Block. Okay, well you're an acolyte? Block. Okay, but what if you're a rogue? Block. All right. Does high corruption increase chances of more LP in the Nemesis egg? No. If I put an item in the egg during the campaign at a low level, do I have a lower chance to get more LP? No. The LP chance of the item is not affected by corruption in the egg. However, you do find significantly more eggs and Nemesis. Like you'll get more cracks at it playing higher corruption. So you'll end up with like more high LP items playing higher corruption, but it doesn't make the individual attempts stronger. It creates, if we did that, it kind of creates an opportunity for like egg service almost, where it's like join someone's high corruption run, and like they'll find you a Nemesis, and you go until you get an egg type thing. That's not really something we're super interested in having as a core gameplay mechanic. Right. Q1, anything more specific than that? Nope. Basically anything that you can interact with and something good or bad happens is great. The previous question was more so elements like patch of grass you walk over and a spike pops out and harms you, or chest that turns you into a mimic. Yeah. The mimic thing's interesting. We've discussed that a few times and came really close to putting it in once. I do really like that type of effect in a context that specifically makes sense. So I'd love to see a dungeon where there was like a lot of really juiced treasure chests that also had a really high chance of being mimics. So like I really like to see that, like here's the you're in a specific context where there's extra incentive to go interact with these objects, and there's a chance they're actually bad. I'd really like to see that more than just having them sprinkled. If you could give advice to a junior gameplay programmer with no experience looking to work on RPGs like at EHG, what might that be? I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is like dumb and mean and sarcastic of just go get some experience. But it's kind of appropriate. So start making a game, and try and release that game. And try not to make it be revolutionary or high scope or like super fancy and like groundbreaking or anything like that. No, just like make a game for your mom or your sister or your brother or best friend down the street, or like make a game that is simple and takes half an hour to play through, finish it, complete it. Yeah, and publish it. Actually publish it. Go through the steps. Like do a tiny little phone game and get a Google Play account. It's $50, I think. At least it was when I did it. And you get just the experience of that process of going through releasing a game. And I think the most important part about this is kind of, it's not about having that experience to put on a resume. It does really help being like, here's a game that I made from scratch myself and I released it. It's really basic. Here's one thing that kind of does cool. But it's a really simple game, and you can describe it in like 3 sentences. It's Mario, but you have a jetpack that randomly activates in any one of the 4 cardinal directions, sort of thing. And for 2 seconds at a time, and you gotta like play around that or something, like little things like so it's really easy to explain what it is. And I think that process of just going through it is really, really valuable for yourself to learn if that's something you are interested in doing every day for the next however long, because it is a very difficult process emotionally. And being prepared for that is difficult. I think this kind of applies to most creative endeavors. But yeah, like take a project start to finish, and I think that's the biggest. And like just a little project in your spare time, you know, like watch YouTube tutorials, things like that. That'd be that's where I did start, and I highly recommend it. I also did have a computer science degree at that point, but still, that's where I started. I wasn't planning on going into games at that point. Alright, with cycle refresh, will there be new Twitch drops? I don't think so, no. Hi Mike, finally caught your stream again. Welcome. Hope you're doing good. I am. Any teaser for the next big cycle update? Also, pet girl win? Oh my gosh, I want a pet girl so bad. There's a lot of armor on that actually. I don't have any major teases for this. I mean, so like basically everything I could tease was in the post this morning. So if you haven't read that post this morning, go check that out because there's tons of awesome stuff. I feel like I mentioned something cool already. The skills that get cast from your there's a bunch of new shrines, and a good chunk of them are skill shrines. So they just like start spamming an ability, like one of them starts spamming hammer throw. And if you are not a sentinel, it's just default base hammer throw. But if you're a sentinel and you have hammer throw specialized, you can throw spinning hammers or whatever you want hammers. And you know, it's pretty sweet. My goodness me. That was closer than I wanted. How you feeling? Are you sweating? We're almost halfway through. I haven't died yet. As I gotta click on a boss. Oh god. I need to fix my resistances before I go in there, or else I'm just gonna get one shot. Oh, it's no fortune potential. 9 fortune potential. Look at this garbage item. I'm gonna actually chaos this and try and hit void. Necrotic's actually not bad. Cold was pretty rough too, but we're gonna try and go for it again. I wanted some void res. Minion health. He's not dying at all. Oh, void res. Void res. Not chaos. Void res. Worth. Don't care. Mana. We don't need mana. I mean, still a useless stat, but at least we got the other stuff up. Nice health. Yeah, 2 strength. The sad 2 strength. I almost just was like, here, let me show you the new affinity system or the priority system, and just like click all through it. Let's try to do this quick. Oh, Weaver's Will. Better. Let's just go try it. What's the worst that could happen? Alright, hello Mike. Hope this Friday is treating you well. It is, thank you. It's that time again for my weekly question. Any merch shop updates? Nope. Super excited for the refresh and event. Also, thank you for the great work you do and EHG do. Thank you. You're welcome. Nope, sorry. Not yet. I want it so bad. Any plans for a secret level akin to the cow level? You can tell me. I won't tell you guys. Honest, Gov. You know, like, I can't say that we don't really think that might be fun to possibly add in, but whether or not we ever decide to not do that is really just, it's so up in the air still that I can't think why we would or wouldn't want to maybe do that, but you know, we'll just have to see. Confused? Me too. I have no idea what I just said.
This hates, this despair.
Berserk rolling. Here we go.
Within me. This world earned its truth. Do you deny it?
Lost it.
My shadow cover this.
Lost the pattern. Just got annihilated. I don't know if I knocked him off position or not. Oh, yep. Ugh. I saw it. I'm like, oh, as soon as I walked in there. I knew. Oh, there you go, Aaron. All right. We need more void res. One of these is it. Void. Bring me the void. Where does that say the word void on it? What? Am I blind? What is going on? One of those affixes is copied from something with void in it. It's gotta be. Yeah, armor mitigation applying to dots is great for us. There's Ellie. I think it might be time to get rid of the boots, possibly. This caps our crit avoidance. I don't want to try this for too long. Let's see if we can just craft these boots a little bit. In there. Thank you. Okay, what do we want on the prefix? Maybe we just want move speed, right? Yeah, great. The dexterity ups. That's what we wanted, right? Attunement. Attunement's okay because it does help the transformed version of that. It's not great. Should have done the void res first. I'm gonna try and swap those out. We have enough? We gotta redo it. We gotta redo it. Okay, let's pick carefully. High health. Yeah, we'll get low. Okay. More questions. Back to it. Any plans for... Oh, yeah. You're great at answering these questions every week. It gives us so much hope for the long-term future of this game. Thank you. I appreciate that. I work hard at it. How do you and the team feel about the new boss ward tuning? Do you feel the discrepancy of health going down is too great between health and ward? I think it's tricky. I think that a greater variance from boss to boss would be good at this point. That's where I'm leaning myself. It is a difficult thing to answer though, because you are I think, okay, so overall, I think wildly positive change compared to what we were before about the hidden boss DR system. I think it is wildly positive. So I think we are significantly stepping in the right direction. It's not perfect yet. I'd really like to see some tweaks to it to fine tune it. And I think, and I could be wrong with this. This is not just a me decision, but I think the way I'm leaning towards it myself is higher variance from boss to boss in both how, like what percentage, like right now it's about the ward bar fills, and the ward bar is about 75% of the boss's health pool. And then it decays more. So I think the I think I'd like to see the decay ramp increase. So the speed at which the ward decays at increase faster as like I want the curve of increase rate to grow faster. It's kind of it's confusing, but I think it would basically mean as you're getting like it would cap out the time the ward's going to sit there a little bit lower. But would have a lower, but wouldn't change too much the impact that the ward has on builds that are really pumping up the damage and are just getting through the ward themselves already. I think I'd like to see a higher variance in the... this is all stuff that we have to debate in the design meeting and everything, and it's way more than just me. But this is what I'm going to talk about in it when we talk about it next. Also, having a slightly higher variance in the ward amount relative to the health amount. So like some enemies getting a ton of ward and having not much health, some enemies having a ton of health and not much ward. You know, having it be less strictly linked. I think it'll be good. And having that information be a little bit more upfront too. We often do that with just putting more ward pips in it if we want more ward stuff happening. But I think having the dynamic of the ward percentage, of the health value percentage for ward amounts. Oh my goodness, I think I said that right. Being a higher variance would be good too. Sorry if that was a lot of jumbo. I probably said something wrong there. There's room to grow. Alright, does corruption level have any impact on loot lizard spawn rate? Ooh, good question. Yes, it does. Certain loot lizards can only appear later on. So like there's certain loot lizards that won't appear in the campaign at all, and there's certain loot lizards that won't appear until you get later in the campaign, in the monolith. Or they won't appear very often until you get later in the monolith. And like, so the rarer ones show up more later. Total spawn rate, I think corruption does impact it a little bit, but I don't think it's a huge amount. I think it's one of those like indirectly it affects it type thing. More shrine spawn or something like that. You know, like there's. And the loot lizards do spawn just on their own, not just through shrines. And each loot lizard has a chance to just like to multiply as well. So you may have to make some hard choices on which one to chase and follow. Which, if you do have friends playing with, it's not a bad thing. If you have to split up. Because they will escape if you let them linger too long. They will escape with their tail intact. There's also a little Easter egg in there as well that you'll find. I wouldn't call it a mechanical Easter egg, a fun Easter egg though. So don't try and read too much into it when you find it. Alright. With 1.2 being partially merged with 1.3, would be a great opportunity to finally match the cycle number 3 and the patch number 1.3. Any chance this is happening so the confusion is taken care of? That's not a bad idea. It does cause the problem of like, what happened to 1.2, right? Because the next patch is going to be 1.2, and it's kind of going to be the 4th cycle. You know, like, so it's they're going to be even farther split now. Which might fix the problem on its own. I don't think it will though. I think something needs to be done about it. Okay, here we go. Berserker. Almost just started singing a song with Berserker as the main lyric, and then realized that I'm like, well, the rest of that song is very much not appropriate. And everyone who just understood what I was talking about is over 30, probably over 40. All right, any plans for making the factions going against each other in a tournament competition or an event that make players come together weekly? I'd say unlikely. One of the key things we're actually trying to avoid is pitting them directly against each other. Like that, like that will bring out and really shine a light on the differences of 62 better. Is it enough? That'll really shine a light on the differences between them. Okay, enough. 69. I need. This should cap our crit avoidance, right? Oh, way over capped. Oh, I don't even need that. I'm capped without it. Oh, I can find better boots than that. All I have is a little bit of void res, move speed, and health. I can find better boots than that. Let's take a second. Let's take a step back. Here's some better boots. Because we are completely wasting that stat. Boots. Yes, everyone's looking at me going like, Mike, this is exactly why we need better search in here, because you could just put boots and void on here and it would be great. You're absolutely right. I could just do something like this and just slap void on it. Ooh. Ooh. That might be fixable. Okay, we're gonna do a little mini craft here, because we can just try and roll this into void. Armor, cold, dodge, health. I mean, we came back around to a great pair of boots. Crap, we're gonna keep those. Those are nice, but not what we're looking for. Fire res, fizz res. Let's get some void res in there, please. Necro res, cold res. Also a good pair of boots. Not what we're looking for. Here we go. Why didn't I start with those? Wait. Good. Okay, I'm not crazy. Okay, T5 void res. Strength. Ton of int. Let's crack that int off. Vitality. Oh! Here we go. Oh! Oh, yeah. Okay, I know the move speed's crap on them, but you know what? Look at our void res. Just capped. Okay. Thrilled about that. Unique, so Weaver's Will. Crack some experimental stuff. This. Another exalted. Another unique. This is what we need. Stash priority system. Cut that time down. People saw me like organizing my inventory and stash on stream, and they got so fed up with it that they implemented. No. All right, the original forum post has mentioned dungeon quality of life coming, but the poll post today didn't have any listed. What was the quality of life mentioned that we are getting, or is it saved for the patch notes on the 17th? It's saved for the patch notes on the 17th. I think the long and the short, it's not a huge. So we've got 2 stages of dungeon quality of life improvements coming. The first stage is going to be a little bit smaller, and the second stage is going to be a little bit bigger, and probably more things you're hoping for. The first thing is we're kind of just trying to cut down on some of the initial frustration with some quick wins, some easy things like we're shrinking the size of the zones, and we are shrinking the rate that the blockers spawn at. So you'll have a much less chance of having like inaccessible areas. You'll have just a better chance of just gliding through it, and you'll be able to find the ends faster. So the time you spend in each one of the like floors of the dungeon is going to be a lot smaller, which is I think like the main thing people are hoping for, but it's not the only thing we're doing. And we do have some oh my goodness,
My shadow will cover this world once more.
Bart. Go to the big side, Mike. Play this smart. We don't need 2 deaths in one stream. That's never happened before.
My vengeance will be paid in ash. This hate, this despair, oblivion burns within.
I love the roll. Feels so good.
This world earned its ruin. Do you deny it?
I was trying to make my arena size big for what I had available. Oh no. Oh no, this is gonna go so badly.
This world once more.
What's a Pokemon that looks like my Raptor? Go Raptor, I choose you.
Impossible. My vengeance will be paid in ash. This hate, this despair, oblivion burns within. This world earned its ruin.
Gotta find my new running speed. Come on, yes.
Changes anything.
Is that culling hit?
This world is already dead.
Throwing damage leeches health. All right. Ward gain on kill and decay threshold. All right. I'll take dodge rating. Better than nothing. Grumble, grumble, grumble. All right. Easy. I think every time this happens, when I'm leveling a character and I get to that, I'm like, God, I get my void res fixed. I do really like those boots though. It's a lot of strength, vitality, armor. It's just such a basic set of gear, but like I think I'm gonna try and seal the armor. Situation like this, I think that's like sealing time. We're not the right one to do it now. When we can, let's seal those boots, the armor, and then get a better stat there. Straight to Lagon. Let's go straight to Lagon. More questions. Sorry if I'm falling behind here. Got a little. I get like absorbed into the game a little too much, and then I just forget about I'm supposed to be answering questions. Ooh, I should see if I could say this. See what they say. I may have some other news. See if I'm allowed to tell you. Uh-oh, people are pinging me. Oh, thanks, Aaron. Level 65. Oh, you got my back, buddy. Okay, as soon as this echo's done, I'm gonna switch. Thank you. I didn't even notice. All right, great. So small announcement. Actually, it's a pretty big announcement for me, but you gauge. We are heading back to Tavern Talk. Carve will be joining me this time, and so it's going to be Carve and myself are going to be guests on Tavern Talk with Gazzy and DM. So that's going to be a ton of fun. That'll be on Tuesday, just before the patch. So on the 17th, yeah, Tuesday the 17th. The patch notes will probably have just gone out, actually. So, ooh, that's good timing. That was lucky. And yeah, so we're gonna be going there a couple hours, and they'll get to ask us a bunch of questions. So if you have questions you want them to ask us as well, maybe grill in some follow-ups and things like that, head on over to them, and I'm sure they have places you can submit questions, or they'll have chat open or something. Yeah. That's gonna be great. I did that twice before. Both times it was so much fun. Very much looking forward to that. That's why I say big announcement for me. Alright, why Harbingers are more pain for melee compared to range. Example, Spirit of Fire Harbinger with AoE dot aura that is up like 80% of the time. I mean, so there's like, we try to make it, you know, reasonable for any type of class character to build to fight the boss of a similar level. There are certain boss fights that we tend to favor melee or ranged for, and we try and switch those so that there's a roughly even number of those as well. Like we want the overall experience to be fairly even for ranged and melee, but we don't want every individual fight to be even for ranged and melee, if that makes any sense. You know, we try and make them reasonable and possible and doable and viable and all that sort of stuff for ranged and melee, but having them be exactly the same difficulty for each and every situation is, I think, less interesting. And I think that's one of the fun things about having a character where you come up in situations where you're like, I am a god, look at how fast I killed this, and situations where like, ooh, here's my character's weakness, and it's like a really tough fight you got to battle through. And I think having those dynamics is really important. So and right now it's probably skewed too heavily towards favoring ranged and too punishing for melee, but that's not intentional. Wonderful. Yeah. Alright, I find new skills are what makes people most excited, but because of the way skills work in LE, I think that it'd be hard to consistently make new skills. Are there plans on making generic skills sort of ease the workload? We have talked about doing generic skills in the past. One of our core design pillars is class identity, and having generic skills does butt right up against that. We almost did a skill tree for evade, as this would have been the first generic skill tree that went into the game. We were very close on doing that, and like obviously we didn't do that. But yeah, so it's something that we've definitely considered, and we are getting quite a bit quicker at making awesome skill trees. We also have some other stuff that's going to work into this well that I can't talk about right now. Yeah, you bring up a good concern that we've been and a problem that we've been working on alleviating for years now. So I'm confident in our ability to keep pushing new skills in as we go. I know we didn't have any last patch, and that's going to change going forward. You're gonna start to see new skills again. I'm actually Monday morning. First thing I'm gonna do is start prototyping or continue prototyping a skill, because the person who started it's going on holidays. I've got a plan. That, like in all reality, will probably fall on its face, but you never know. Ooh, Harbinger nearby. Oh yeah, it's Harbinger nearby. Let's get this chest first. Any plans to add more dot mitigation affix passive tree outside of a few specific item bases? It's very difficult to mitigate, especially at high corruption, while it seems to tick so quickly and for so much damage. Yeah, there's definitely, we've been looking at new ways to specialize your defenses to focus more on dot resistance in general. I don't have any examples of that right now, I'm sorry. Would you guys consider doing challenges to unlock MTX that pair along with new leagues? Oh yes. I think if you take a careful look at the announcement that went out today, there's some hints of some fledgling versions of that coming. Any word on public API anytime soon? Nothing new. We do have an API that people do use. It's private, like it's invite only right now. Usually when I see this question show up, like I've answered this question a few times on like Reddit, and almost every time when I say like we've got one that we're like still beta testing and we might open it up at some point and yada yada yada, my follow-up question is usually like, what do you want to use it for? And basically the answer always comes down to like, well, we're not doing that. The API doesn't have that, we're not adding it. It does other stuff. So I'm curious to know what you're looking to use it for. Maybe I'll let you know if that's something that the API does and or could potentially do. Got him. They're just lobbing at me over here. Do you have any info on the dungeon changes that are coming? I think this is old. I'm gonna skip it. It's still early. Mike, die. Oh, it's real early. Uh-oh. Which of the MTX pets is the most popular? I don't know off the top of my head. I bet it's one of the chrono worms. Except the age. They're kind of restricted. I mean, if we're just going by sheer volume, it's probably one of the ones that was like in the Twitch drops or in one of the like base tiers, something like that. Someone took out Raptor? Hey Mike, so after the event and no cycle till New Year, are you going to put some new game mechanics things till cycle? We're not planning a major patch when the event ends, if that's what you're asking. Oh, we can switch. We can switch. We can switch. Oh, okay. The switch is. I'm realizing that the switch is going to be substantial because I'm going to respec all my passives, all my skills. Shoot. And I'm not going to be here next week. So if I do this offline, I'm never going to do it on stream. What do I do? I don't want to do it live. Do I have the offhand? I don't even have the other one. You know what? I am going to not do this live because I realize I'm probably missing another one actually too. I'm missing this. Yeah. I'm missing two of the other uniques. I've only got 2 of the 4 uniques for the build. I'm going to not waste all of your time. I want to do it. Okay, let's keep asking questions. I'm too far behind on chat and I won't answer the questions properly. If I catch up on chat, I'll do it. How about that? All right. Will someone please tell Mike to switch to Raptor Pack now? Able to ROA a nail tooth? Yeah. Can we get an idea of what skill sigils is planned? Skill sigils originally planned for 1.4R. Not really. The only thing I can tell you is they're skill sigils and they have something to do with skills. And I'm working on it. That's about it. Sorry. All right, let's say when you were a student, you wanted to make a system from LED2, etc. for a final project. Anything come to mind that might provide a bite-sized challenge for a reasonable scope? I like the auto-firing shines idea. Everything's so heavily integrated that it's difficult to do something like that on its own. Like it's something you can like. Yeah, that doesn't work either. Something you can do in a bubble, like without having to have the rest of the project, if that's what you mean. I mean, like building like an inventory system teaches you a lot of data structures and like a lot of working in the engine, things like that. Everything's just so interconnected. Something UI heavy like that, I think, would be the place I'd start if you're trying to have like a bite-sized piece of something without the rest of the code base, you know. Thank you for the quality look coming in the update. I'm so excited for the stash tabs. You're welcome. Reference time 201. Oh, I'm half an hour behind. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you very much, Kane. Any plans to add gold prophecies to COF players? Kind of feels like I'm always out of gold compared to Merchants Guild. Not that I know of, but you're welcome to drop it in the suggestions. Always a chance we add it. Hurricane Flambers of Hunger. Sweet name. Yeah, I saw already post about shrines, loot, G's, etc. My question was about teasers for the next cycle that's coming Q1 next year. Oh, sorry, got nothing for you. I mean, all I can tell you is what we've already said. It's going to be, well, there's a post that references a little bit about it, but I can't remember exactly how it's worded. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it's a lot of stuff from 1.3 that we weren't going to do in 1.2. You know, even though it's going to be 1.2. And there's like a list of things we're focusing on, like sorry, you go back and read the post. I'm sorry, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Alright, why not just do a retcon and call 1.0 cycle 0 game launch so the number of them became even with the cycle number? Changing historical things like that I think is even harder because it changes all of the like any like build guide on YouTube suddenly becomes outdated, and like most people aren't going to go back and update those things, and it gets really confusing for the community that way. I think tying the name to it's the best. Like tying a descriptor name to it is the best way to do it. Like instead of season 2 or cycle 2, it's, you know, like Harbingers of Ruin. Alright, as far as the lore goes, can we see the aliens invade the game? Additionally, as far as you desire, go aliens, yes or no? Aliens are... So I think aliens as a concept is fine. I think there's sort of an implied assumption with aliens as a concept also including high tech. But aliens don't necessarily need to be super high tech. Like what if they used magic to get here? You know, then there's no technology concerns. I don't think there's anything specific planned for that right now. Do we need a mono skill tree to ban arena levels? Lol. Yeah, I don't know if specifically banning arena levels is the best reason to put that in. But yeah, I agree. Alright, I don't think I saw it mentioned, so I'm assuming not. But will the upcoming cycle refresh include any class or balance changes? It was mentioned, it will not. I love your game. I wish it was unique for every skill in the game. It's fun to play different skills. Any new uniques for the event? Not for the event, but there are lots of uniques that are planned and or coming down the pipe. Yeah, there's some cool uniques. We don't really, so we don't look at a skill and go, hey, there's no unique for this skill yet. Let's design a unique around this skill. Or like these 10 skills don't have uniques. Let's make sure we get 10 skills for each of these uniques. You know, we don't do that per se. There is a little bit of a, like, if someone's trying to design a unique and there are 10 uniques for that item, that skill already, we kind of go, does this need another one? Maybe just let's see if we can get the same feel somewhere else. Maybe, you know. So I think we naturally gravitate towards where there's more space, more design space still. And I think you'll see them start to balance out a little bit more. But certain skills have tons of uniques that go with them already. Oh, lost it. Or cold res. Oh, 45, not that bad. Thought it was worse. Totally just called that attack and leap slant to the right spot. Totally by mistake. Oh my goodness me, that was close. Wow. Man, shield bash hurts. Ow. All right. Ever had something happen to you in game and think, I need to go fix that code ASAP? Every single day. All right. The day you fix your void res is the day I make a loot filter. I fixed my void res. Oh, look at that. Look at that. All right, I've had it requested that I tell you to switch to your Raptor pack. Also, do you think there could be a possibility of getting a poll for the cycle naming convention? I've had to explain to at least 3 of my friends that 1.1 wasn't a big bug fix. And I know they're getting it was just the season or cycle or something. I mean, 1.1 did have a ton of bug fixes in it. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. It's confusing. I got it. I heard you loud and clear, buddy. It's confusing. All right. With 28 more shrines added to the game, is the spawn rate going to be increased? And with all of the skills on the shrine, is the game performance going to be affected? It is... we take performance into account with all these things very carefully, and you shouldn't see any adverse effects of picking up the new shrines. There are I don't know if the shrine spawn rates increased or not. It kind of has to be. It feels increased compared to, like, from this compared to what I've been playing in, like, testing. It feels very increased. Get back here. Use the store or sword. Okay, fine. Fine. I'll switch to the sword. I get it, everybody. Will you ever make a contest for unique ideas? We've done like a group submission thing where it's like we poll we ran polls for like each stage of the item, like the theme, the base type, the like the lore behind it, the art. We did a bunch of polls, and that's how we got the void spear, the void volcanic orb spear, which is sweet. And you know, we've there's been a few posts that have gone out on like Reddit where it's like, hey, submit some ideas, and like a few of those have been incorporated. We take ideas from suggestions all the time of like people dropping our suggestion channel, and we're like, hey, that's a cool idea, let's make a unique out of it. Formalizing the like, we're gonna make one unique from this suggestion pool, I think kind of ties our hands a little bit. We're not huge on having to be like, we have to use one of these ideas specifically. We tend to look at the suggestions and like pull one thing out of it, where it's like, what's the idea behind it, and kind of like massage the feel to be something that functions. Because a lot of times there's reasons why we can't do things that seem like it should be obvious that we could. I was kind of hoping to use that as whatever. Okay. We're gonna switch. We're gonna go respec. We're gonna nuke everything. I'm gonna try and do it as quickly as possible.
Hello, traveler.
Where is it? Oh, it's not here. Okay. Of course.
Hello, traveler.
One. Full points in that. And then here we can respec. Nope. This one. That one. That's the other one I was looking for. Good. Got it. Max pains +1. We need that. We need this. Oh, I want that one extra point. Whatever, I'll get it. This will function at least, I think. Yeah.
Do not dwell on regrets.
Raptor. I can get rid of that. We'll get those points back. Okay, that's fine. We go quick. I don't think there's much else I actually have to change. I think I can just roll with that, and I'll start taking points back in this. I need the dual wield node. Dang it. Right? Thought ahead. Okay, this on. What are we gonna put in our offhand? Just like a nice axe, right? Nice one-handed axe. All right, this one is fire. We don't do fire. Let's try and re-roll it into physical. Pure multi's good too. That's too bad. Okay. It's not good. That's not a bad idea. The damage on it's probably garbage, though, is the problem. Let's see what happens if we change to it. 54. Actually goes up. Sure, whatever. All right, whatever. Let's give it a shot. See what happens. I don't need to go to that waypoint. Been playing too much. That needs it. Okay. Looking at your fight with the Black Sun just now, do you think it's okay that bosses lacking CC immunity to pull knockback? Sometimes it can mess up positioning and their mechanics make the fight harder. Just not how it's supposed to be. Yeah, I think I think that fight did illustrate very well that there's some situations it can get into where it needs to be knockback immune. Positioning in general is just such a it's such a cluster. Raptor pack, here we go. Go, my pretties, go. Wait, did this also give us... I was intentional, I swear. I just needed to like show why you shouldn't open your menus mid in the middle of a combat zone. Just trying to illustrate a point. I'm really glad that we got there. Point there. Good point there. Got points there. Let's get more points here. Okay, good. All right. Let's pretend like we know what we're doing. Back to questions. Any plans to change arena levels in monos, like make them more rewarding and adding mechanics like Nemesis into it? I'd really like to to make it a little bit more dynamic. Stay at 11. That's too bad. I think there's definitely room for I just realized why my defenses are down, because I'm dual wielding. Right. Okay. Gotta remember that. I think there's definitely a lot more room for arenas to significantly improve in especially the mono versions of the arenas. We've done a few things to kind of like, for people who really hate the idea of it, so they see less of them, make it easier to, like, you can use the search now to show them there so you don't run into them. Like in the search bar, there's just a little button you press and it highlights them so you don't have to, like, you can just avoid them if you want, if you really hate them. I think that someone mentioned earlier about like ways to like specialize your monolith experience to like trade them for things, and similar to how lenses work with COF. I think there's room for lots of little things like that. I think there's also a lot of room for just improving that experience in general, so people don't want to skip them as much. Or if you're like on the fence about skipping them, it's they're like, oh, maybe I don't skip them now, or maybe I just don't care anymore. Right. In regards to the API, I understand it to be the thing needed for player tournaments that Vision used to run. I'm pretty sure that part of it is available. I could be wrong. I feel like if that was available, we probably would have offered a division already. I could be wrong on that, but I don't see why we wouldn't. Those were great. Raptor a name. None of them have names. I'd have to resummon them a bunch to try and get one with a name. Will there be more tab icons for the player stash? We're not planning on more right now, but yeah, I think that that's reasonable to add a few more, but I don't think we're not expanding them this time. Is there going to be something similar to a world boss event? We don't have any plans for a world boss event at the moment. Did I fix it properly or slap a bandage on it losing something else? I feel like I swapped out a piece of gear that had aged like sour milk and replaced it with a sweet piece that cranks up my stats to make me awesome. And also happens to fix my void res. For the upcoming event this month that grants increased gold and faction points, will this include legacy players? Yes. Or does it only apply to Cycle? No. It will apply to everybody, online, offline, legacy, Cycle, solo, hardcore, standard. Everybody gets it. Just this once. Everybody lives. I mean, gets the buffs. I mean, what? Where am I? I'm partway through my inaugural watching of Doctor Who. And I say inaugural because I can already tell I'm going back for round 2 at some point. In the first season, I kept a notebook on. I was writing down. I started noticing about halfway through the first season of the New Who, that there was the phrase "bad wolf" was showing up in the background randomly. And so I started keeping a notebook of all the places that I'd seen it every time it showed up in an episode. Just a little scratch pad on my phone, and. I thought I was like so clever, and then I get to the very last spoiler alert on the first of a 15-year-old TV show, or whatever, 20-year-old TV show, and it like reveals exactly what it all is and shows every single one of them, and I'm like, I wrote this all down for nothing. Oops, whatever. Actually, no, we're gonna take that point back out. We're going all the way up there. I'll learn it again. 1.2 and 1.3 merged into Cycle 3. 1.0 equals Cycle 1. 1.1 equals Cycle 2. As easy it is, and from now we don't look back. I mean, yeah, that would require us to skip patch 1.2. Which might be the lesser of two evils, you know? That's not I'm not saying that's a terrible idea, but I think that's the big opposition it would come up against. It's such a hard thing to judge from the inside. Like to say like I think this is going to be confusing for people or not is such a difficult thing, because like it's not confusing to us because, you know, it's what we sit around and hang out doing all the time, talking about it, and so we know very clearly what it is. And I think that's a bit of our downfall sometimes, is that we just Like, well, we understand it, so it should be obvious. Same thing. And obviously, we try and put ourselves in our players' shoes and all that sort of stuff. And it's a tricky one. Ding, level up. Okay, we're putting points in this now, right? I do love attacking so fast. Okay, more questions. Ooh, there are more. Nice. Let's just go right to empower. We're doing it live. Do we have cleansing? Yeah, we have cleansing. We have so much cleansing. We're like the cleanse bot. I think we have like 3 abilities that cleanse. What benefits does a developer character account have compared to a regular player character account? For example, can a developer character right-click on another random player to the end, in the end of time, to view their gear? No. My account has the only thing my account has. There's one thing my account has access to, but it was added manually. It's not automatic. It's just like the only thing my account has, and it's not even exclusive to developer accounts technically. Is I have access to all of this stuff. You know, like that's the only thing that. Can we just do both the same? Yeah, let's do that. Now I look like a paladin. I'll take it. I love it. So glad we expanded that to work on not so strict items. We do have like developer builds of the game. So I guess this is something my account does have access to, is that I can log into the development builds with my account. Like, you need a developer account to log into a development build. Like, even if you got your hands on a development build, it wouldn't let you in. So my account has access to that, which has access to a bunch of like dev tools and dev commands and like console and everything like that. Like, so there's a lot of stuff I can do there. But no, in like the live version of the game, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm completely equal footing and everything. I don't have extra powers. Oh, okay. And as I'm thinking of this, yes, I do have a chat. I do have extra chat options. I can like ban people from chat and like, you know, things like that. But that's it, I swear. All right. Are there any plans? Yes. And I know you've said it was a mistake right afterwards, but I just like saying it. All right. Next one. I assume that question is going to be finished later. My current problem with trade in Last Epoch is that there is no trade macro to instantly check the value of an item or unique. Are there any plans to adding a tool to check prices of items? Kinda. There's, I would say, a goal to be able to have a price check tool. Plans implies we kind of know how it's gonna happen. There's a few blockers on the price check tool that we don't have resolved right now. You know, it's I say this a lot, and I try not to overuse the term, but like, if I had a magic wand, I could just be like, price check tool enabled. Yeah, there'd be a price check tool. It'd be in. Absolutely. So it is omitted not for lack of trying or desire. Are there plans making 3D models for quivers so we can see them on the character level game? By the way, thank you. I don't think there's anyone working on that right now. However, I do believe that is on the list, and I so want it. We're going up this way. We're getting to the end of the stream, about 5 minutes left. I'll try and answer as many questions as I can. We don't have a ton streaming in right now, but feels good. This is a really good stream, I think. There was lots of great questions. I hope you guys got some good answers you liked. One quick reminder before we do end. Tuesday, Carve, one of the other designers, and myself, Carve being the other designer. So the two of us are going on Tavern Talk with Gazzy and DM. I think it'll be on one of their streams. I think it'll be on Gazzy's stream, question mark, I think. But that'll be tons of fun. So looking forward to that. Come check us out. And if you're unaware of who they are, I'd be shocked. But they're two ARPG streamers. If you knew about Last Epoch but not about them, that would be surprising. but possible. I don't know. All right, hi Mike. Let's say I spend 20-ish hours setting up a 100 priority tab in cycle. What happens when the cycle ends? Oh, good question. I think. So this isn't going to be an issue until Q1 of 2025. But it's a good thing you're bringing it up now because it will be an issue then. And I hope it's an issue that we can resolve. So right now what will happen is exactly what happens to the other stash tab properties. For example, like all the stash tabs get sent to Legacy. They are remove only tabs, and therefore suddenly the priority settings don't matter at all because they're remove only. You can't put anything into them, and the priority only affects putting stuff into them. So that all of that just poof goes away, which is a problem. And I think it's the same problem we have right now when stash cycles roll over, and you have to reset up the names and the icons and the colors and all those sorts of things. So having a stash layout where I think this is the requested feature we get a lot, and there's nothing, I don't think there's anything that we're like opposed to with this, but probably just need to find time and figure out how to do it type thing, would be having new tabs automatically gain the properties of the tabs that were there before. I think that's the typically underlying request that's here. Oh, hi, Aaron, it's you. Yes, I know this is the underlying request that's here. Didn't even see. And I think if we can find a way to make that happen, I think it'd be a really positive change. But it's not going to be an issue until next year. Because that's the first time that priority, specifically you're saying the priority won't roll over for the first time until the new year. And not like when the year rolls over, but like sometime in Q1. Oh, I just hit my monitor. It's fine. Talking with my hands again. Am I off center? I am off center. Oh, this is turned. Any chance that if they think you fixed your void, a loot filter is riding on it? Ask chat if they think you fixed your void. A loot filter's riding on it. Okay, do you guys think that I fixed my void resistances with these boots? Do you think these boots were my way of actually fixing my void res, or not? We're right at the end of stream. It's all that matters. Hey Mike, any chance Primalists will get to use bows in the future? I think there's a very good chance of that at some point. I have no idea when that'll happen, and it might be quite a while. But I think there's a good chance that'll happen at some point. Archer with a Pet Ranger, such an iconic class type that is missing currently. Fully agree, and I think that's exactly the reason why I think it'll happen. I want these hunts in the next cycle so bad, but I have to wait. We are gonna trust your judgment and wait a little bit longer. Hunts? Don't know what you're talking about, sorry. Will there be anything special in the future with the Apple room or other secret rooms? Oh, there's definitely room for some cheeky special content like that. I'd be surprised if we didn't get some spice in there with it, you know? Barboian. That's good. I like that. That's nice. Gold star. This is one vote for yes on your void res. Gonna make it official, so if you can't ignore it, haha. I see 1-0 right now. Thanks for being awesome. Your stream is very calming. You're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate you guys hanging out, having some fun, asking me questions. I love questions. Just gonna finish this echo and I'll be on out of here. Yeah, I'd love to do like the little secrets, like secret cow level and the chat gem and things like that are like things that really, I don't know, captured my imagination as a kid, and I love and want to, you know, get those things into the game. That those things where you're like, I don't know what they call them, like playground secrets, you know, things where it's like, did you hear this is in the game? No way, there's no way that's true. I'm trying it when I get home. Oh yeah, it's there. You just gotta walk up this pier and down and punch this car 400 times and then it'll appear. An actual one that didn't work, but yeah, anyways, love it. What about being able to imprint tab layout like loot filters? Import tab layout like loot filters. I mean, yeah, that'd be a great way to do it for sure. That'd be amazing. I think that would be the like the what if. Yeah, magic. That's the magic wand solution. Garmic, you know that reference? Yeah, you do. Someone else grew up in the 2000s, the 90s and 2000s. Yeah, I guess I'm a little older. Anyways, that'll about do it for me today. I hope you had fun. I know I did. If I didn't answer your question, I apologize. It was not intentional. Please head on over to our Discord channel, which is an Acid Devs channel. I'll be happy to answer it there. I won't be back same time, same place next week, but someone else will, and we will be having fun the 17th, Tuesday the 17th next week. Carv and I are going on to Tavern Talk with Gazzy and DM. Then on 2 days later, on the 19th, our new event starts, new cycle starts, quality of life patch drops, all sorts of awesome stuff. Check out the post today. I think that's about it. I'll be back the week after next. Someone else will be filling in next week. I had a great time. This was a great stream. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Let's go see if someone want to go say hi to. Oh, it's been a few weeks. It's a safe one. And get lots of sleep, drink lots of water.